I recently decided to start testing cotton yarn for amigurumi, which if you're new here in the channel, I might say that these are my favorite types of yarn for crocheting amigurumis. I have these other video here in the channel where I talk about 4 different yarn brands that I worked a lot and I really enjoy, which are Shapius, Crocheniacs, Hobby and Amigurumi. And in this particular video, I also explain why I like cotton yarn so much, although it has some drawbacks. This is still my favorite type of yarn for amigurumis. But in today's video, I'll talk about 3 different brands that I recently tested and I really liked, which are this one, Drops, DMC, and this last one that I only have a small bowl here, which is called Yarn and Colors. And I will talk about lots of aspects like different colors, the prices, the things that I like and I dislike about these yarns, so you can decide which one is the best for you. First of all, let's talk about the brand called Drops. And I bought 2 different yarns from their brand. This one called Drops Saffron. In Portuguese I would say saffron, but I don't know how to pronounce it. And this one is Drops Love You, Heart You. I also don't know. But these are the 2 yarns that I'm going to describe right now. These yarns, they are 100% cotton and they are excellent for amigurumis. I have tested them both. They are not mercerized and they have like a very soft touch. Comparing the brightness of both yarns, I would say that this Drop Saffron has a higher brightness than this Love You. As an amigurumi lover and an amigurumi designer, I would say that both yarns could have more colors, because this one has 45 different colors while this one has 57. Well, you might think this is a lot, but believe me, when you're creating an amigurumi and you want to find like a specific tone of blue or a specific tone of pink, you start to miss a few colors in the chart. Also, just one curiosity that I like to mention, and I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning, is that this brand is from Norway. Always like to mention where is the yarn from, and this one is from Norway. I'm sorry for not mentioning it before. With both yarns, I can crochet with a 2.2mm crochet hook size, because as you know, crocheting amigurumis is always better to keep like a smaller crochet hook size to keep the stitches tight. And just so you know, these Drop Saffron, they recommend, and let me see here, a 3mm crochet hook size, which yeah, it's too much for amigurumis. I would keep my 2.2, and this one they recommend a 3.5. And honestly, they are so similar. I would keep a 2.2 crochet hook size for both yarns. So something that I want to test with all these yarn brands, if they pass my easy start test. So let's check it. If they pass the easy start here in the beginning, yarn barf, it happens. I mean, I would not say that they don't pass the easy start test, because I could at least remove the yarn from the center. Once I took another brand skein, and I won't mention the brand right now because this is not the focus, and I couldn't pull the yarn from the center. It was impossible. So yeah, there was the yarn barf and it happens, but at least I could remove it from the center. Yeah, and now let me test with this one. Okay, so now let's test with Drop Saffron. This one seems way more organized inside. Yeah, guys, so this one was way easier. Well, comparing these 2, and I don't know if all skeins of yarn will be the same, but this Drop Saffron was way easier than the Love You. Good news is that these yarns were very cheap and they are good for amigurumi, so I would totally recommend you use that if you find this in your country. Just so you know, this one I paid 1.55 euros, while this one I paid only €1. Just keep in mind that when I bought these yarns was during a Black Friday sale and the store had like 20% discount, but do your maths and you'll see that it's still worth it without the discount. The next yarn that I'm going to talk to you is this cute one here from Yarn and Colors and their must-have yarns. This brand is from the Netherlands, and when I checked the About Me section in their website, I was in love with their story. They said, and I quote, "Color is what lies at the heart of this brand, something that was evident from the start. There is nothing more difficult than finding the exact right color for your project." Guys, isn't that amazing? This is how we all feel. So if you go to their website, they have the must-have selection and the must-have minis. I bought the mini version here. So it's exactly the same yarn, and it just changes the amount of yarn, of course. This one, just so you know, it has 10 grams and 25 meters. The must-have selection of yarns comes in 140 different colors, while this mini version here has 125 different colors. And I will quote them again. Sometimes you have those tinier projects asking for a little bit more flexibility. The answer to this question was the basis of creating our second yarn, the must-have minis, little balls of only 10 grams. Amazing again, isn't it? I'm not being paid to say any of those stuff, okay? No one is paying me for creating these videos, unfortunately, but the good news is that I'm giving you my honest opinion about all these yarns. But what I like the most is sometimes we just want to create a small detail in an amigurumi, and we have to buy a whole skein of yarn with, I don't know, more than 100 meters, 200 meters to do like just a tiny little thing. So having these mini versions here is amazing, and that's why I only have this, because this was the only one that I needed. And I think it's amazing because it costed me like a few cents. So this yarn, they recommend to use a crochet hook from 2 to 3.5 millimeter crochet hook size. But I used a 2.2 millimeter crochet hook size again, and it worked perfectly. My stitches were tight, and I strongly recommend. It is possible to work with smaller one, like a 2 millimeter, for example, but I think it would already start to hurt my wrists a little bit more. And I guess what happened to me is that I'm used to work with this 2.2, so I try to use this crochet hook size for all my different threads, and it usually works pretty well. But before I show you the last yarn that I tested, if you're still here with me in this video, remember to write down below in the comments the name of your favorite yarn brand, and who knows, maybe one day I can test it here and bring a whole review. Also remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so I can keep creating videos like this with tips and tutorials that will help you a lot in this amigurumi journey. Well, the third and last brand that I have to show you today is this one, DMC. This brand is from France, and they have an amazing and very long story that started in 1898. Isn't that awesome? This Happy Cotton is 100% cotton yarn, specially designed for crocheting amigurumis and smaller projects. They even say in their website that this yarn is excellent for crocheting amigurumi for children and small projects. This yarn is a little bit thicker than the others that I showed you before, and I crochet it with a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook size. For this one, 2.2 was too hard for me. That's why I used a bigger one, but not that big. I used a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook size. And although they recommend a 3 millimeter crochet hook size, and honestly, smaller than 2.5 would start to hurt my wrists. This yarn was not very expensive. I paid 1.19 euros. But it's just a small skein of yarn, so in the end it's not that cheap. Just so you know, it has 20 grams and 43 meters, which is not that much. And it comes with 50 different colors. Let's see if this yarn here passes the easy start test. Well, to start, it's a little bit difficult because since it's a small ball of yarn, our fingers do not enter here that easily. Yeah, an easy start, so good points for this yarn so far. And the second and last yarn that I bought from DMC was this one here called Natura Just Cotton. And guys, this yarn is amazing. I really wish I had all the yarn colors that they have from this one here, because I don't think I have enough words to describe how amazing it feels to touch this yarn. This is the most soft cotton yarn that I have ever touched. It's amazing. It comes with 50 grams and 155 meters. The crochet hook they recommend is 3mm crochet hook size. Let me see if there's anything else to tell you. Yeah, although they recommend a 3mm crochet hook size, I also crocheted with a 2.2 and it worked perfectly. The only drawback that I would say about this yarn is regarding its price, because this was one of the most expensive yarns for amigurumis that I have ever bought. This one here costed me 3.91 euros, so it was way more expensive than all the others that I bought today, and this one is even more expensive than the ones from the first video that I mentioned in the beginning, and I will also put in the description so you can check it in case you had never seen that video before. Another drawback for me is that in order to work with this yarn I have to remove the label, which is something that I don't like doing. I have lots of different yarns and yarn brands and different tones of green, for example, and if I remove this label, I would probably forget which yarn is this, which color, tone, or things like that. So yeah, having to remove the label, for me, at least for me, is a drawback, because I would have to create different methods to remind myself, I don't know, write in small pieces of paper in order to remind myself which yarn is this and things like that. And that's it for today's video. Have you ever used any of these yarns mentioned today? And which of these yarns are you really looking forward to test? And I'll leave you with this other video here that I'm sure you'll like it too.